Welcome all, and welcome again to a beautiful evening here on your Monday night. We're in Johannesburg. Temperatures are about 15 to 16, 18 degrees, a bit cold and chilly. But on your Sankofa program, there's never a dull moment. We're excited and very happy to be with you here, looking backwards at the future, looking at problems of the past and contemporary issues of the present, trying to find our pathway into the future we are going forward to. And I'm excited tonight again to be welcoming you to this program, and I would not find a better guest for you again today than our honorable friend and brother. You know, sometimes in life we become too complicated and sophisticated in looking into the echelons of power and looking for people who have lots of blah, 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 blah about politics, about economics, MC2 times X squared, but sometimes it's important just to go back to the ground, talking to real people, real issues. And I would not find a better guest for you tonight than our honorable, beloved friend and brother to me, King Panwell Mlochwa. He rather go by the name of King Panwell. And we'll go through all those nuances and finding out why do you want to call yourself King Panwell? Introduce yourself to the people. Who is Panwell?
I'm always worried when I have to speak to you because I get happy when I see your face. Because I know I'm about to milk and suck some knowledge.
No, me sucking too.
No, I don't have much to share, I think, compared to you. But today I wanted to come with some heavier energy, and I'm hoping at some point I can kind of divert back to it. I'm just very excited to be here to speak to you and to connect with this platform and with some of your viewers as well, as we chew on this bone that we have to suck out all the...
I'm excited to see you.
I'm always happy to see you. You know this.
I'm happy to see you. Many shows that come here, they find me, braced up to make sure that nothing goes wrong. But with you as a brother,
yes,
I could actually say I'm very happy.
Thank
that you came to visit us here on Galaxy Universal Network.
Thank you.
And we go through some certain paces. And the whole idea on this platform is to do the Sankofa thing.
Yes.
We want just maybe a little bit of what is happening in the past. And have young people, do you understand where you're coming from? What type of future do you want us to see coming into? And I know you've done lots of work in the space of entrepreneurship, networking, Buy Black initiatives that you've done.
100%.
And you've always been constantly begging and banging on the doors of African leadership. And what sort of leadership do we need to be driving the program of the African agenda forward? So you have a chance today of talking to the entire African continent with millions of people listening to our great continent in Accra, in Ghana, you have Brazzaville in Congo, you have people in Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Nigeria, Kenya.
That sounds so beautiful.
And the whole of Africa is at your footsteps. And having listened to you in our private conversations, and I was looking for a guest for tonight, I said, no man, there's a young man I need to introduce out there to the rest of the continent. He's a young man, and by the time some of us are gone, you guys are still going to be here to carry this baton forward and introduce us to the next generation and say, no, we lived with them. We saw them. This is what they were saying. And so to me...
Don't lie about them, because we're here to speak on their behalf.
But for me, this is more of an interaction. It's more of a connection.
Yes. Of
two worldviews, two generations meeting together, and a young man and an old man sitting around, sharing some notes. What do you hear? So be comfortable. I want you to be very comfortable, and I want you to represent all the young men out there, all the young women out there who look into the political arena, look into the economic arena, look into the international affairs issues, looking into the cultural issues, and you say, guys, stop planning for us.
Yes.
We are here. We are now able also to reason with you, to think with you, to feel with you and map this future together with us. And I want us to crack right on the program, because an hour is a short time on media.
It's too long. It's too short, sorry.
I want us to start right on the top of the program, African leadership. African leadership. What do you see in terms...
You took me back to the heaviness.
Let's start right there.
You said a lot of things, and I almost, the way my brain works, it gets triggered. And I think that's what happens to creatives like us. You want to write a book, you want to write a song, you want to shout, you want to... We have a huge leadership vacuum in Africa, especially with the youth. Now, we can come here and discuss all the things that people discuss every single day and talk about colonialism and talk about apartheid in South Africa and talk about oppression and talk about corruption. But one of my biggest issues, and I say this all the time, is leadership is meant to start at home.
Mm-hmm.
We know this. You and I know this. Most other people don't know this. And today I made a video, even on my YouTube, explaining that one of the most important decisions that especially young boys becoming young men need to make is deciding what type of leaders to follow. Because we're born and given an identity we don't choose. You're born into a religion you didn't choose, and you therefore have to follow pastors and a Jesus Christ and a Muhammad and a Buddha that you didn't choose. You're sent to schools.
That's what you find in the family.
That's what you find. You're sent to schools, whether it's a private white school, it's a black government school in the township, that you didn't choose. And they set your principles, they set your outlook on life. And when you get older, you're meant to take that exposure and that experience and decide for yourself, what type of leadership do I want to follow? Because people love speaking about the responsibilities of leaders, but we never speak about the responsibilities of followers, which is why I'm talking about leadership has to start back at home. Especially as a man, and this is now one of my favorite topics as well recently. We have lost our men, especially as black African men. And we need to bring back our men. We had bring back our girls.
Where are they?
Hey, Yazi, to answer that question is so difficult.
Because it looks like you're looking for them.
Yes.
We have lost, and anytime you lose something, you better know where did you lose it, and where is it, and how do you get it back?
Like I said, my brain has got so much going on right now. So we've lost our men, and we need to bring back our men. We've had all the oppression of the past. Black people lost. It's one of the most difficult things for people to hear. And they come up with excuses, which is normally the language of a loser. Losers love making excuses. You lost. And my fear, especially because we've lost our men, is if ever another war comes back, if ever white people, Europeans, colonialists say, take back your land, take back Africa, it's fine, we're leaving. We'll come back in 5 years to fight you again for the same land.
And we'll still get it back.
We'll lose.
Again.
We'll lose because we lost. And instead of accepting defeat and saying, look, we lost, how and why did we lose? How can we make sure that we don't lose again? We're not having those conversations. Black men specifically are not armed. They don't own land. And they blame everyone. They blame everyone for why they don't have land. They blame the colonialists. They blame black politicians, etc., etc. We need to have a conversation, a serious conversation about we lost and getting it back. Because in losing our land, in losing our wealth, to a point where now we have black men leaving rural areas to go to cities to beg for jobs, to work for another man.
Yeah.
We've lost our identities and we've broken our families. And we've got young boys being raised by mothers. Young boys are not meant to be raised by mothers. We've all watched The Lion King. Sarabi, I think, is Simba's mother. Sarabi doesn't raise Simba. Simba's raised by Mufasa. Because a woman fundamentally, and this is now where feminism becomes a controversial topic as well. Women can't raise young men or young boys into becoming men. Because women are not inherently violent. We're designed to be providers and protectors, and we've lost that because we are raised to be like women. We're emotional.
Feminized society.
We've been feminized. That's why young boys today are so emotional and they get depressed and they commit suicidal. And you're unemployed and you can't make means as a man because you weren't raised to hunt. You are raised to beg. You are raised to,
and they put
to rely on another man.
Modern women take their boys and put them between their legs, and then they spend all the afternoon
100%.
putting some cornrows on their heads, making them look like some himshis.
100%. And it's becoming more and more urgent, for me at least, to specifically speak to the men. We keep saying no one's speaking to the men, the boys are getting left behind, everyone's speaking to the women. The truth of the matter is that whatever we're going to say to the boys is not going to sound nice on social media, anywhere else. Because I want to teach.
A simple thing like pull up your pants. As a boy, pull up your pants.
Pull up your pants for me is not that important, or not more important than learn how to kill. Learn how to take.
I've already heard you saying twice on that issue.
Yes.
And on the issue of African men not being weaponized, African men not being able to fight.
Yes.
Most of our boy children right now are brought up with a pen in their hands and a balance sheet.
100%.
They almost become white collar slaves,
of course,
who have a career and no blood, no sweat, no problem. They just want to get a nice little starter pack car, a little flat in Morningside, and have their lives. What do you think is a problem right now with the academic educational institutions in terms of its involvement with the participation of the parents, in terms of bringing up the boy child?
We need to break everything down, and I'm scared of going into spirituality. I was watching a conversation between you and Ukoko Dineo. It's outside of my pay grade, outside of my qualification. But where we are in society today, as an individual black boy or black man, you almost need to fight everything that you've been conditioned into. That includes what is called culture. That includes what is called ubuntu and respecting your elders. Because you're respecting oppression. If your parents have been conditioned and broken down and
you are forced into also accepting that.
You know, when you break a wild horse to tame it, your parents have become that, and they're trying to shove that down your throat. You cannot accept that if you want to rise.
I wanted to start on the top. I want to still ask you the same question.
Yes.
About African leadership. African leadership. Where do you think is the vacuum? You mentioned a big word. We have a vacuum in African leadership. Can you define that vacuum? What goes in there? How did we end up with such a big vacuum?
Yes. So the one thing, like I said earlier, is leadership has to start at home, which is not happening. So black men need to go back home, number one. Number two, one of the intelligent ways that white people specifically remain powerful is that when they fight blacks or Asians, they don't go for the low, they go for the head. When we speak about black leaders, good ones, strong ones, we speak Marcus Garvey, Chris Hani, Malcolm X, Steve Biko, Robert Sobukwe, Thomas Sankara.
Yes.
That's who white people go for. Black people are not even having that conversation of who are the white leaders we need to take out. Don't fight white people at the bottom. It's almost like I find a white beggar on the street and I beat him up, and then I celebrate that I beat a white man.
Go to JSE.
That's not a white man, that's actually a black man. He's poor.
He's poor.
He has nothing. You know, so we're not even discussing how to kill the snake at the head. And the sad thing is the supposed strong leaders we have are either not intelligent or they are captured. And now if you don't have intelligent leaders, they easily take it for money.
Correct.
They easily get outsmarted by other people. And the young guys who think they are smart, they lack bravery. What you'd call balls. They don't have it.
They lack the cloudy thing.
That's essentially it. You know, so we've got that problem. And some of us, and I'll speak for myself because I can't speak for everyone else. Some of us have to rise. I'm not religious, but you look at a figure like Jesus Christ who spoke his truth, who lived his truth, no matter how unfavorable. We live in a time now where even when I speak on social media, brands are not going to be able to work with you. Watch what you say. Who's going to... No great leader. There's never been a great leader that was liked in their eyes. And if you look at what is deemed evil men, Adolf Hitler, Robert Mugabe, today, even though he's not even that strong, Donald Trump, these are not favorable men, but they have a vision to uplift their people. We can argue how they go about it, whether it's the right or the wrong way.
But they get things done.
They get things done.
Germany would not have become what it is.
Not by a long shot.
Not of the background that Hitler actually established a working country with precision. When he said, I want so many aeroplanes by so many days, and they said, we cannot do that. He said, if you cannot do that, then you are out of the picture.
That's what leadership is.
The story says, on the date that he wanted the aeroplanes, they were there.
That's what leadership is. It's meant to be uncomfortable. It's meant to challenge you. It's meant to not be liked by the people that are comfortable in the status quo.
Can I ask you a question?
Hit me.
The African leaders that we have, are these African leaders? What DNA, what mindset, what software are our leaders working on? Are they working in terms of positions of power to transform the society, or these leaders are in power to maintain the status quo of the colonial system? Are they fully circumcised into the African thought pattern, or they have actually become the Uncle Toms? When you look at an African leader today, be it a president, be it a governor, be it a commissioner, be it a director in a company, be it a CEO, when we have something, we don't know, finally we have one of us, take note, quote unquote, one of us in power.
A dark person.
Is it one of us?
You're making me want to discuss economics now.
We'll get to economics.
And all of us...
We'll get to economics a bit later on.
All of this goes back to leadership. It has to be economics when it comes to leadership. When Africans, not by choice, decided to embrace capitalism and the money system that we have today, they agreed to play by rules that are not set by us. And anytime you play in a game where the rules are not set by you, and where the rules can get shifted at will,
goalposts,
you can never win. In the capitalist sphere of how the world operates, where we talk businesses, Africa is an orphanage. It's a charity foundation. And what you're calling leaders are merely just heads of a charity house, where all the rest of the Africans are merely beneficiaries of charity. Such that if you look at, for example, South Africa as an example, the bulk of the masses live on grants, on free houses, on free education, on free... And what we call political leaders are essentially just faces of white tax money saying, here's a bit of money, go look after your poor little blacks so that they don't disturb us.
Africa has become a charity house where our leaders are basically managing charity people. We have King Panuel in the house today, taking us through some paces of, he's a young man, fine young man, and I'm excited to hear the young men of our generation beginning to look and see the reality of the colonial system. And the question is how and what do we do about changing this status quo and formulating a new future? First 15 minutes gone, with another 30 minutes with King Panuel here. When you come back on top of the program, I want to take him through the political conversation and specifically the economic issues. Don't go away. We'll be back right after the break.
Hello. Being a legal practitioner in South Africa in these challenging times demands lawyers that will help clients beyond legal issues. The ever-changing demands in commerce and tourism require lawyers who have sound and clear business and commercial knowledge, and that's where MB Chabangu Incorporated comes in. Our business, mining, tourism, health, labor, and economic knowledge encapsulated with law and litigation experience gives us an advantage in the legal sphere. Our experience in assisting businesses, government, and various industries with their needs puts us amongst the many progressive and striving law firms in South Africa. Now, to contact our attorneys for assistance with any of the mentioned fields and others, please call us on 012-341-4187 or send us an email on admin@chabangu.co.za. MB Chabangu Incorporated, where problems meet solutions.
God is so amazing.
Feel the heat.
The Bible says that through his death on the cross, we are now reconciled with our Father.
Forgive and you shall be forgiven.
So wherever God takes us, we're just excited about it.
As a child of God, where you are, you must have an hour of prayer.
Feel the excitement.
In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus.
I believe that God is working right now.
Feel the heat with StarSat.
Africa has become a charity basket. Africa has become a charity basket where our leaders are simply Uncle Toms who are managing the African economy on behalf of the colonial system. And the system that they are using is basically founded on a political